Hello, my movie peeps. I just got done watching M Night Shyamalan's latest movie titled Knock at the Cabin. And with Knock at the Cabin, we follow two fathers and their daughter on vacation in a cabin in the woods, when out of nowhere, four strangers led by Dave Bautista inform the family that if they don't sacrifice somebody, the apocalypse will begin. And that's all pretty much say without giving any spoilers to you guys. This will be a spoiler-free review. M Night Shyamalan, baby. He's a director that's definitely had his good days and his bad days. When it comes down to it, I'm always excited when I hear an M Night Shyamalan movie's coming out. Although, yes, this isn't an M Night Shyamalan original. It's based off a book written by Paul G. Tremblay. I find myself always looking forward to when they announce the next M Night Shyamalan movie because I feel he just always has something new to bring to the table. I think he is very much a talented director. It's just some of the out there choices and risk he does that I don't always end up agreeing with. Take, for instance, his last movie, Old. Not really a big fan of it. But man, was that premise interesting. Just a beach where you grow old minute by minute. And Knock at the Cabin isn't any different. From the moment I saw the first trailer with Dave Bautista letting that family know, you don't pick someone to die, we all gonna die. Hooked, line, and sinker. Count me in, M Night Shyamalan. I am gonna be there. Walking out of it, pretty solid movie. As far as the recent entries that M Night Shyamalan has done with his theatrical releases, I feel like this is the most well put together. Dave Bautista continues to show his range in acting and proving why I think he's the best wrestler turned actor. Just a giant, soft-spoken, polite man who puts a very hard decision in front of these characters and he carries it out very earnestly. I thought even the little kid in this movie, Kristen Q, went above and beyond. She was adorable. Getting to the two fathers in here, Jonathan Groff was great, but I think the standout performance to me was Ben Aldridge. He just came off to me as the most engaging character throughout the movie and is also the one that gets the most fleshed out. I was also really loving the pace of this movie, at least for the first half of the movie, because it just gets straight into it. From the moment the opening credits are over, you're already at the cabin. Dave Bautista's walking up to the kid and he's like, I need to meet your parents. When it comes to a film with its premise as simple as this and it taking place mostly in all one location, it was just so refreshing for it to just get straight to the point of the movie. It's also the most suspense I felt in an M Night Shyamalan movie in a long time because it was just eyes glued to the screen thinking of every possible scenario, imagining in your mind, how would I get out of this? What would be my response? Do I believe them? Do I not believe them? Because again, to remind you, this whole movie mainly takes place at the cabin in the woods. The characters are sitting down for like 80 to 70% of this movie. M. Night Shyamalan has been one of those directors who's been heavily criticized sometimes with his choice of dialogue, and while there are maybe like a few moments where I was like, some of that classic corny M. Night dialogue, I love it. It takes a good director to keep your attention the entire time without someone busting out Subway Surfer at the bottom of the movie. But I think the biggest standout to me about Knock in the Cabin and how different it's kind of been from some of M. Night's previous works is we all have kind of an expectation sometimes when you go into M. Night Shyamalan movie, right? I mean, even some of you right now are wondering, see if I can dissect the words Chris is saying right now and I'll figure out this twist without having to spend my money on a ticket. And I feel like that stigma M. Night has about the king of twists or just pulling out a twist in every movie and people just expecting that every time he has something new announced. He succeeded with it in the past, but sometimes it causes this false pre-notion that you're going to be mind blown by the end of this movie. And here with Knock at the Cabin, M. Night Shyamalan is as straightforward as he can be. He's not focusing on trying to give you some big sort of mind blow twist reveal at the end of this movie. To me, this time around, it felt very dedicated to its stories and themes it was trying to flesh out here, and that was what I was most engaged with in this movie. I love some of the things that M. Night was trying to pull out here. Of course, having a same-sex couple in here, they bring up the topics of, okay, are we being targeted for this? I felt that was really well balanced in the movie, along with the doubt these characters have on, are they telling us the truth? Are they pulling our leg? So it's kind of nice to see M. Night Shyamalan trying to break that mold for himself, and I'm curious if he'll continue this in his next projects. Now, with that said, it's not a perfect movie. Although I came out of the theater satisfied with the ending and how we got to that outcome, I was still a bit underwhelmed by the end of it. And a lot of that for me is just because I feel like the movie raised more questions than it gave answers to. Maybe those are the things that the book would better flesh out than the movie for, and we've heard that done 1,000 times. Oh, the book is way better. But I thought there was just such a fascinating aspect of these four strangers who just believe that if they didn't make this family do this, the world would end. Also felt like the movie really sidelined Jonathan Groff's character. The movie has a unique way of presenting some backstory to the couple and their life before the cabin in the woods. I really like the way M. Night sprinkled it through because it never took away from the tension that was going on at the cabin. It was just enough to give you a taste of what they've went through, and then they put you back into their shoes in the chairs. But a lot of that backstory and fleshing out was mainly given to one character, so when some of the emotional beats happen in here, it was just kind of very one-sided. But again, I just go back to that underwhelming feeling I felt walking out of the theater. It's not something where I'm like, oh, I'm disappointed in that movie. It's just more something like, credits rolled, I'm happy, but I'm also going, that was it, huh? Okay. That was alright. I liked it. You liked it? I liked it. So for M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin, I'm gonna give action 1.5 stars. The movie is very stationary in this cabin in the woods for the majority of the film. There are sequences where characters try running, some try fighting back, but it's very far and few in between. Comedy in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Really, to me, that'll be with some of the corny M. Night Shyamalan dialogue in here that just feels kind of misplaced. Drama in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3 stars. Like I said, the most straightforward M. Night Shyamalan movie. What you see in the trailers is mainly what you get. Not saying that's a bad thing. I think if you go in expecting a mind-blowing twist, you're definitely gonna come out super disappointed. But everything building to the outcome to me was really well done. Horror in the movie, I'm gonna give it 2 stars. Mainly the first half of the movie is the very horrifying part, just the home invasion, being tied down, and then some of the things these strangers do in front of this family, I think would put you in a horrifying situation. But then somewhere halfway through the movie, you're just no longer really that scared, and you're just curious to what the outcome is. And suspense in the movie, I'm gonna give it 3.5 stars. I thought this one was gonna end up being a 4-star, maybe even a 5-star one, just because the first 30 to 40 minutes, you are on the edge of your seat. You're nail biting. You're going, how is this family gonna make it out? But then as the movie goes on, your tension dies down. You start to realize what's actually going on, and then the movie ends. Casual fans, I'm gonna give it a B+. Cinephiles, I'm gonna give it a B-. And critically, I'm going to give it a B-. Even with some of its faults, M. Night Shyamalan's Knock at the Cabin to me is a movie I think that is still worth watching in theaters. Again, that's just my opinion on the movie. I'm going to be really curious to hear from people who have actually read the book and the source material. If you can put like a little spoiler one in, I'd love to know some of the biggest changes that you guys agreed with or disagreed with in this movie. And if you're not someone who's read the book, how do you feel about this just kind of being a straightforward thriller that M. Night is doing without trying to pull some big, oh, what the twist? Anything and everything, be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.